Could all those hours that your children spend each day in front of a screen be hazardous to their eyes? Medical reporter Liz Bonis talks to a sight specialist at Cincinnati Children's to find out in today's Medical Edge.
First, I wake up, usually kind of play on my phone a little bit.
It's not unusual for Alexandra Pohl, who is now 13, to spend a lot of time in front of a screen each day.
Probably about an hour and a half per day.
But that's mild, perhaps, compared to what her brothers Cameron and Connor may add up on electronic devices throughout the day.
I usually go on YouTube and search things on the internet, and on laptops I usually play games. And on the PS4 I just like to have fun and play Call of Duty.
Not to mention, they all have homework now, often submitted electronically just about every day.
A lot of my projects now are all pretty much computer-based. I have to do a lot of brochures and PowerPoints.
In this house, they seem to do a pretty good job, as you might notice, of breaking that screen time up. But some studies from the American Academy of Pediatrics estimate that some children now spend 5 to 6 uninterrupted hours at a screen per day. Which raises the question, what is that doing to a child's eyes? And could it be playing a role in nearsightedness or the need for glasses? Right now it appears if you talk to child eye experts, we really don't know the direct impact of these electronic devices on vision or child eye development. Dr. Walker Motley says we don't have a lot of studies directly linking the two.
But what is a very common study result is that children who spend more time indoors rather than outdoors tend to develop more myopia, which is nearsightedness.
We also know that as kids sit more, the risk for other health problems which can influence sight, such as obesity, also go up. But when it comes to the actual electronic devices,
so directly the screen interacting with the eye and the visual system, we really don't have any good data to connect the two there in terms of any vision problems.
Dr. Motley says when it comes to the number of kids who are nearsighted now,
it has been a trend upwards over the last number of decades, but say over the last 1 to 2 decades, it's hard to draw that conclusion.
So he suggests that kids do what Alexandria likely already knows she should be doing each day.
I try to tell myself, like, don't get on your phone, just do your homework, study, but it doesn't really work.
So why do you tell yourself not to get on the phone?
Because I think I have better stuff to do, like more important things, instead of checking Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff.
In Oakley, Liz Bonis, Local 12 News.
Now, it is suggested that kids get an eye exam each year to check for vision problems. Squinting, headaches, reading trouble may all be early warning signs that something is wrong.